littering and welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you for joining us again this week, for joining us for the soon-to-be award-winning program. And across the board from me, smiling because he can't believe I just started the show that way, is Jared. Jared, how are we doing today?
I am fantastic today. I'm feeling rejuvenated.
He's feeling rejuvenated because he slept for like 10 hours last night. So excellent. Now we've got, holy cow. If you're a Facebooker, if you're an online news junkie, if you pay attention to popular media and what's going on, there is so much material for us to cover this week that I'm looking at the show notes and I don't know if we can even possibly touch on everything I've got in the notes. I've been literally every single day this last week, I've been adding material to the show notes. And every time I think I'm done, something else happens. Somebody says or does, some liberal politician does something crazy, or it's insane. So we're going to jump right into it now. Before we get into it, obviously we want to talk to you about all the cool stuff that we've got available for you. Geez, Louise, you folks have really gotten on it this week as far as asking questions, signing up for our social media, you name it. We've got a tremendous amount of interaction from you guys, the audience, all of you students of the gun there nationwide and worldwide this week. So don't forget about our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. I can tell you this, that even if you are wearing a tactical kilt, you can still wear a Super Tuck holster. And how do I know that, Jared?
Because you're wearing one.
That's right. I'm wearing my my tactical kilt right now. And in my tactical kilt, I've got a Crossbreed Super Tuck with a G17 pistol stuffed into it.
I added one to the list of stuff you can do with a Crossbreed on this weekend.
Oh, you did?
I did.
What else can you do with a Crossbreed?
You can load an entire Penske truck with a Crossbreed on and not notice it.
Aha! So Jared helped his buddy move this last week. So there you go. If you need to help your buddy move, you can do it with a Crossbreed Super Tuck on. Now, don't forget about our good friends down there in Cocoa, Florida. We're hoping that things are starting to cool down for them down in the tropic Cocoa, Florida area. But Kel-Tec Weapons, they're hard at it. They're producing PMR-30s and KSGs and all of their guns as fast as they possibly can. So check them out at keltecweapons.com. Now, last week we announced for you that we had yet another big giveaway, and we're going to make sure that just in case you missed it or weren't paying attention, that you're aware of the fact that we have partnered with Tactical Response, and we're giving away training. That's right. Every month for the next 3 months, October, November, and December, on the first of the month, we're going to choose a name from our active subscriber list. Yes, that's right, the magical active subscriber list to Student of the Gun. It's super easy to do it. All you have to do is go to studentofthegun.com, and on the right-hand side there's a little box. You put your first name in it, you put your email address, you click enter or send, and it'll send you a little email that says, hey, do you really want to subscribe to Student of the Gun? And of course you do. Why would you not want to subscribe to our weekly newsletter? But once you subscribe and become an active subscriber, you are automatically entered and eligible for all this cool stuff that we're giving away. Now, the training giveaway, essentially, the 3 winners, the October, November, December winners, will be able to go to Tactical Response in Camden, Tennessee, go to their website, tacticalresponse.com, and check out their courses and their calendar of events and so forth. And you will get free tuition to any 2-day course. That's right. If you want to take fighting pistol, fighting rifle, shotgun course, force on force, any of their 2-day programs, you'll receive free tuition, and they'll just send you an email saying, congratulations, you won. Pick a course and let us know when you want to come. So if you're a student of the gun, obviously you should constantly be seeking information and education. And this is one of the ways that we're helping you do that. Now, speaking of students of the gun and students of the week, Jared's going to tell us who our student of the week is this week, what their question was. But before that, he's going to remind you guys what you need to do or how you can help him and us to get you your free student of the gun stuff. Jared, go ahead and let him know.
If you guys hear your name announced on the radio show as a student of the week. To confirm that you heard this, go ahead and send us an email to info@studentofthegun.com that has your address in it. That way we can send out your merchandise to you. And what are we adding to the package?
Well, we're going to be doing the sticker pack now. We talked about that before. We've got these new really high quality vinyl stickers that say, I am a student of the gun. So you can boldly display those. And when people say, hey, man, where'd you get that sticker? Well, if you can either say, well, I got it from Student of the Gun because I went on their gear store and I bought it. Or you can say, I was the student of the week. I was the smart guy that week. They picked my question and that's how I got it. So, if you'd like your question answered on air, if we do answer it, just send us a note at info@studentofthegun saying, hey, I heard my name and this is who I am and this is my mailing address, and we'll get that sticker pack right out to you. Now, Jared, go ahead and tell us who our student of the week is and what their question was.
Our student of the week is Mary Elizabeth Berry, and she's finishing a build on an AR in 5.56. She knows that she could shoot 223 out of it, but she wants to know the difference between 223 and 5.56, and she would also like to know the absolute best ammunition manufacturers of 5.56.
Wow, that's a tall order. Well, let's start first things first. There's a little bit of confusion out there still about 5.56 millimeter and 223 Remington, and they're like, well, can I shoot one out of the other? What have you? If you go to a store today, whether it's Academy Outdoors or your Walmart or your local gun shop, Cook's Gun Shop in Biloxi, Mississippi, you walk in there and they have black rifles on the shelf. And 99.9% of all of those rifles will be a true 5.56 millimeter chamber. And it's easy to know because all the manufacturers of the barrels, because that's where the chamber is, right? The chamber is attached to the barrel. They will roll stamp 5.56 NATO or 5.56 by 45 or what have you. And that way you know that it is a 5.56 chamber. And you're like, well, isn't a 5.56 and a 223 Remington, aren't they the exact same cartridge with two different names? No, they're not. A 5.56 is a military cartridge. And think about it, it's not quite the same as 38 Special versus 357 Magnum or 44 Special and 44 Mag, but it's close. It's close to that. A 5.56 generally will have a little bit of a hotter load, or it'll be faster. Generally, let's say 1 to 2,000 feet per second faster when firing the same bullet weights. There is a slight difference. Now, it's very slight, and you'd have to actually measure it with a caliper. It's not a difference that you're going to be able to see visually, but there is a very slight difference. Jared, you want to jump in and say something real quick?
The 5.56 has more pressure, correct?
Yeah, the 5.56 is a higher pressure cartridge than the 223. 223 is I guess you'd say a commercial or a civilian caliber. The 223 Remington is. Now, so you say, well, get to the point. What's the point? If you have a rifle that is chambered in a 5.56, you can shoot 223 Remington ammunition and you can shoot 5.56 ammunition. And when you buy the ammunition, it'll be specifically designated as one or the other, which brings me to a good point. 20 years ago, 25 years ago especially, finding a genuine 5.56 by 45 NATO cartridge on a shelf in a gun shop was pretty rare. You didn't find it. Today, you can walk into Walmart and buy genuine 5.56, NATO ammunition off of the shelves in Walmart. It's made by Federal. It's made by Winchester. It's made by Remington. It's made by Black Hills Ammunition. And you can find that it's very, very common today. Whereas, 20, 25 years ago, it was very uncommon. Now, if you have a rifle that is specifically designated as a 223 Remington gun, and generally you don't find these in the black rifles in the AR style, not that they're not out there, but usually if you find a gun like that, it'll be some type of a bolt action gun or possibly a break action gun. And if it says 223 Remington, that's all you can shoot in it. If you find a box of Winchester white box, 5.56, you cannot use it. So don't feel like, well, if I if I shoot 5.56 in my gun, is it gonna deteriorate the gun, or well, how many thousands of rounds are you planning on shooting? If you're one of those guys that shoots maybe 100 rounds a month, dudes and dudettes, you're good to go. You're good. You're not going to shoot out your barrel. You're good to go. If you're one of those people that shoots thousands of rounds a month, well, you're going to need to keep track of how many thousands of rounds you shoot, and eventually you're going to need to replace your barrel, but it's going to be a long time until you need to do that. People get barrel crazy. They're like, oh, man, if I shoot too much. Folks, unless you know how much money in ammunition would cost you to shoot out a barrel, you could buy 2 new cars for the amount of money it would cost you to actually shoot a gun to the point where you wear out the barrel. So don't worry so much about that. Keep your guns clean, keep them well lubricated, and if you have a barrel or a chamber that is a dedicated 5.56, you can shoot .223 and 5.56 in it all day long with no problems. I hope that answers your question. Now you're like, oh, well, who makes the absolute best? Well, which one of my ammunition manufacturer friends do you want me to make mad? Because if I tell you that ammunition manufacturer A is the best, then manufacturers B, C, D, and E are going to say, oh, thanks a lot, Paul. Thanks for telling all your fans that our competition was the absolute best. I can tell you who I'm looking at. In our studios, we have shelves filled with boxes of ammunition from all the different manufacturers that we use. And I'm going to look up there right now, and I'm going to tell you which ones I use. Hornady, Black Hills, Corbon, Winchester, and Federal. Who else is up there? Barnes. So right now, off the top of my head, I can say on our ammo shelves, we have ammunition from Black Hills, from Federal, from Winchester, from Hornady, and from Barnes Ammunition, and Corbon. Any of those manufacturers will treat you right. So, and Wilson Combat. I'm sorry, I missed a couple of Wilson Combat up there. So if you buy ammo from any of those makers, you should be good to go. Not that there aren't others out there that make good ammunition. There are. I'm just telling you that's what's on the Student of the Gun shelves right now. Let's get into, oh my Lord, let's go ahead and get into the slave state news. Now, in the United States of America today, we're in a similar situation that we were back in the 1850s, leading up to 1860 and 61. You had states that were free, where the citizens could be free, and then you had states where they were slaves. There were slaves in those states. And there are a lot of slave states, and they're not getting better. They're getting worse. Because what do we talk about? Gun control, anti-freedom advocates are never, ever, ever, ever satisfied. So let's get into the slave state news. Fast, it don't last long. With the Colorado Rocky Mountain High. All right, that was the vocal sounds of John Denver and some of you older guys. Now, you kids out there, you guys that are under age 30, you might not know who that is, but you older folks know. And for you kids, you go ahead and you can Google John Denver. And just as a quick aside, kind of ironically, I took my lovely bride, Nancy, and we went to a John Denver tribute concert here just a week ago. And it was put on, it was kind of a neat thing they did. They actually had video and concert footage that John Denver had done, obviously when he was alive, because John passed away a long time ago. But there was a live band there. And so the live band, including strings and woodwinds, accompanied the vocals that John was singing. So it was a really interesting thing. And not all, but some of the guys that were there, the musicians, actually had played with John Denver when he was alive. So that was if it's coming, I know that they're going to be in Florida. The tour is going to be all over Florida in about a month or so. So just as a free bump for them, go to johndenver.com and you can look that up. And if you want to see the memorial, not the memorial, but the tribute concert, I would highly recommend it.
I had an ADD moment when you said Google. Do you want a bit of useless knowledge?
Go for it.
Do you know what a Google is?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead and tell me what you think.
That ruined it for me.
Go ahead, Jared. Tell me what a Google
A
is.
Google is a numerical value. It is actually 10 to the 100th power. And I did not know that. I learned that from Dallin, actually, a couple days ago.
Really? Yeah. That the legend goes that a mathematician many moons ago was counting or adding value, and he got to a point where there was no name for that value. And so he went to his little kid, his little son, and he said, what should we call this? And his little son said, Google. And he said, okay. And that's where they got the name Google from. That's the legend.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
Well, there you go. At least that's a legend as it was explained to me. But let's get back to the slave state news. That's right. Now, we've been talking about this. We've been following it. And if you are a student of the gun, you know what we're going to lead off with first. Well, because obviously our friend John Denver told us. Rocky Mountain News. Yes, congratulations to all of you living in occupied Colorado. You kicked out both John Morris and Angela Giron. They're both gone. Goodbye, turkeys. And all week long, this has been national news, which is fantastic that it's national news because that means all the anti-gun, anti-freedom elitists had to hear about it. And, ooh, did it not gall them. Oh, and you can bet that Nanny Bloomberg was throwing a fit in his palace there in New York. I'm sure he was probably, throwing glassware at the butlers and the servants or something. I'm sure he was very, very angry. Nanny Bloomberg pumped just ridiculous amounts of money into Colorado to try and defeat this recall effort. I think the anti-recall people spent like 8 or 9 times the amount of money as the grassroots recall effort did. And we're very pleased by this. I mean, if you are a pro-freedom person, you should be encouraged by it. Now, no, this isn't, impeachment of Comrade Barry or anything cool like that, but it is a good start. And it just goes to show you that there are some people in this world whose souls are apparently not for sale. Even all of Nanny Bloomberg's money couldn't buy enough souls in Colorado to save those 2 turds from being kicked out. And they bet on the wrong horse. They really did. We've been following this story since it began months ago. And, we said that if they would have gone ahead once the Colorado, the Attorney General or the state auditor's office, once they approved all those signatures for the recall, they could have resigned and they could have allowed Lickenbottom to appoint their replacement. And you guys know that he would have just gone ahead and stuck in another, Democrat elitist puppet in their places. But they didn't want to go because let's face it, these folks have egos the size of Mack trucks. When you got John Morris telling the state Senate there, don't listen to your constituents, just do what you know is right. Hey, buddy. You're not the ruler. You're not a duke. You're not a duchess. Okay, you are a representative of the people. That's a whole crazy representative republic thing that we established 200 some years ago. That's the whole point of you being there, is to listen to your constituents, not to ignore them and just do what you think is right, you piece of human debris. Well, guess what? They've been shown the door. They bet. I'm sure that Nanny Bloomberg and all of his minions, they got to him. They're like, oh no, don't worry, we're gonna give you plenty of money. And they came up with this ridiculous, a whole lot of people for John Morris or something stupid like that. And they figured they could just buy the souls of the people in Colorado. Now, of course, the other side, they're trying to downplay this, like, it's purely symbolic. Well, what I would say to that is, duh, of course it's symbolic. It's absolutely symbolic. It's symbolic of what happens when you make enough people angry. When you tell your constituents that they don't know what they're talking about and you just shut up, sit down, and be comfortable slaves. Yes, it is symbolic. And the symbology or the to quote a line from one of my favorite movies there. And if you know what that movie is, drive on.
I think you mean symbolism.
I think you mean symbolism. Do I have to go get you a coffee and a bagel now? Anyway, the symbology or symbolism, depending on what movies you like to watch, is that, yeah, if you ignore your constituents, make them mad enough, keep poking the bear. Poke, poke, poke. And that's what they're doing. They were poking the bear out there in Colorado, and they paid for it. Well, obviously, they were replaced with not, Lickenbottom's laptop or lapdogs, not his laptop. Speaking of which, let's talk about our buddy, Governor Lickenbottom. Now, obviously, he was aware of this situation, and I'm sure, they all had their backroom deals. They're like, no, don't worry. We'll get enough money. We'll do enough ads. We'll save your seats, and these crazy pro-gun people, we'll just, we'll get rid of them. We'll push them down and get rid of them. Well, they didn't. They were not able to suppress the freedom-loving people in these jurisdictions in Colorado. And, what did that tell Lickenbottom, who's one of Comrade Barry's good buddies? There's tons of photos out there of Lickenbottom just fawning all over Barry. So, one of the stories that came out this week, towards the end of the week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, is Colorado Governor Hickenlooper softens gun control stance. Oh, really? Really? Oh, you're going to soften your gun control stance now? And this next story actually comes to us from our good buddies at ammoland.com. And it says, Wyoming Governor Matt Mead hosts gun control cover party for Colorado's Hickenlooper. Yeah, what Hickenlooper's going to do now is he's going to try and rehab himself by going to Wyoming, which is obviously it has historically been a very freedom-loving state and a very pro-gun state. And he's going to go hang out with Governor Mead there, and he's going to attend, what is he going to attend? Some kind of an antelope event. Yeah, he's going to attend a special event, a one-shot antelope hunt in Lander, Wyoming. Now, what does that tell you? Number one, it tells you that elitists like Lickenbottom think that you're stupid. They think that you don't have a memory. They think you have the memory of a housefly, essentially. So all of you pro-liberty, pro-gun people in Colorado are just supposed to forget that Lickenbottom, not only did he encourage, but he put his name on all that anti-gun, anti-freedom legislation in Colorado. So you're supposed to forget that now, and you're supposed to think he's some kind of a hardy sportsman. That's right, he's a sportsman. I love how these slimy liberal politicians do that. They cover themselves in terms like sportsman or I'm a hunter. You know what? That doesn't impress me. I'm sorry, but it doesn't impress me because the Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting, Sparky. They cover themselves in this soft language to try and trick you. That's why a lot of pseudo-conservative people will do that as well. They'll come out and they'll give you this, I'm a lifelong sportsman, so you should vote for me because I'm a lifelong sportsman. Every time a politician, a left-wing liberal politician, when it gets close to election time, what do? They get a $30,000 over-under shotgun, and they head out to the field with a platoon of photographers and videographers so they can, take video and photos of them shooting at a dove or a pheasant. And that makes them some kind of a pro-liberty, pro-gun person. Oh, crap. And I'm tired of it. And you should be tired of it, too. The next time you see Joe Biden or any of these other turds with an over-under shotgun in the crook of their arms looking at you like they're some kind of a sportsman, don't buy it. Come on. It should be insulting to your intelligence. And what we've got right here is we got Lickenbottom, and he's trying to regenerate his testicles by hanging out with the governor in Wyoming at some hunting event. Don't buy it. And the reason that this story is up on ammoland.com is because the Wyoming gun owners are like, whoa, 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 whoa there, Governor Meade. What are you doing cozying up to this anti-gun, anti-freedom friend of Barry? Why is it that the Republican governor of Wyoming is going to have an event and bring in the Democrat elitist anti-freedom Lickenbottom, who is, let's face it, he's a puppet of Barry. Lickenbottom is a Barry puppet. Why is a Republican governor in Wyoming going to host this guy? Are we falling into that us versus them club? Is it part of the elitist club? A lot of you guys are probably angry out there. You're like, oh, here we go again, a Republican governor hanging out with a Democrat governor because, let's face it, they're all in the same elitist ruling class club, whether there's an R or a D behind their name. And if you guys, I don't know, Jared, how many people got listening in Wyoming?
I have no idea. I have to look.
Yeah, well, you know how we get people from Wyoming to write us?
We talk about them.
We talk about them on the radio. That's right. So, yeah, if you guys are in Wyoming right now and you're paying attention, you're like, whoa, what is this noise? We're going to, Wyoming's going to host this freaking Lickenbottom dude? That's not cool. And don't let them get away with it. They try and do this all the time. You know, they get, these liberal politicians get their butts in a crack, and then they go out and they try and rehab themselves. They're like, oh, no, I went to a hunting event. You can trust me again. No, you can't. Come on, folks. And if you're hearing this and if you understand it, you should be insulted. You should be insulted that Lickenbottom thinks you're that stupid. Now, enough. You know, what's funny is we haven't mentioned it yet on the radio at all, as much as we talked about Colorado. But we actually lived there. Jared's mother and I lived there and Jared lived there too, but he was real little. He probably doesn't remember much of it. Do you remember anything of Colorado?
I remember getting to pee on the side of a mountain.
Oh, we went on a camping trip in a mountain, out in the mountains, and Jared was 3. Yeah, he was 3 years old, and he got to pee on the side of a mountain, so go team, Jared. But, yeah, we did live, actually, we lived in a little town called Basalt, Colorado, which is right down the valley from Aspen. We lived there for a little while when we were first married, so we're very familiar with the Colorado geography, and it's a beautiful state. It's just a darn shame that it's been taken over by hippies. So, what else do we want to? Moving on. Oh, we don't have a story for this, but we read it this week. I read it. And we talked about the perfect storm in Colorado and how all these left-wing liberal elitists got elected, even in normally conservative districts. Well, it's because they all got elected because of the peace, love, dope hippies all came out to vote for pot here last election cycle, and they rode in the dope coattails. I guess if you're talking about coattails, a lot of these Angela Giron type people and these hippies there. Elitist. Well, they rode into office on the dope smoking hippies coattails. Well, all the dope smoking hippies in Colorado are PO'd because what are they doing in Colorado? Well, they're taxing it. And they're pissed. They're all like, "Oh, you can't do that." They're talking about raising it up to a like 30%, depending on the jurisdiction, because you'll have state taxes and you'll have city taxes, and they're talking about taxing the marijuana in Colorado up to 30%. And so they're all mad. Well, I hate to break it to you, dope smoking hippies, but duh. What did you think your cool, friends in the state houses and the city governments, what did you think they were going to do? This is exactly what ruling class elitist Democrats and rhino Republicans, that's what they do. They tax you. They love to raise taxes. I don't care what they say to you. What they do is they raise taxes. And all these hippies now, they're throwing these little protest rallies out there in Colorado to protest the taxation. Well, duh. And I'm sorry that you got too much THC on your brain to think clearly, but hey, that's what happens, and have fun with that. Let's move on to a state that wants to be more Colorado. We said before that we've got the East Coast rivalry and we've got the West Coast rivalries, and then we've got the rivalry in the center. So we've got people in New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts that are trying to they want to be the state with the most gun control. And then you've got California, and they're out there, and they're like, oh, no, we're not going to let New York have the most gun control. We're going to have the most gun control. And then up till just recently, you had Colorado in the middle that's like, yo, don't forget about the CO. We're going to have more gun control than any of y'all's. Well, we warned you about this, but it's happened, and our source is usnews.com, NBCnews.com. And Dateline, Sacramento, new sales of semi-automatic rifles with removable magazines will be banned. That's right. Did you hear that? California lawmakers pass an expanded semi-automatic weapons ban. Dudes and dudettes, folks in the audience, I'm sure that you probably share the frustration that I'm feeling. A semi-automatic firearm, the semi-automatic firearm, what does that mean? It means you pull the trigger, it goes bang, it ejects a spent casing, it grabs a new piece of ammunition, it chambers it, and it waits for you to press the trigger again. That technology is over 100 years old. That's right. More than 100 years ago, I think it was 18. I don't want to say the numbers because I'll be wrong, and someone write me a letter say, "Oh, it's 1888," and you're wrong. But it was in the late 1800s that we started tinkering with semi-automatic firearms, and they were starting to be perfected towards the early 19th century, 1900s. But let's face it, the technology is over 100 years old. How many products today that are over 100 years old are you afraid of because they're too dangerous? But Hollywood people and elitists and left-wing lunatics think semi-automatic weapons are some kind of a new super deadly thing that just was invented recently, and we've got to get on board these and stop these semi-automatic guns. Have you guys ever seen Jerry Mikulik shoot a revolver? Jared, you seen Jerry Mikulik shoot a double-action revolver?
Yeah, I've seen him shoot a double-action revolver. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, Jerry Mikulik shoots a double-action revolver. That's right. It's not a semi-auto. It's an old antique like double-action. Jerry Mikulik can shoot a Smith & Wesson not a semi-auto, but a double-action revolver like a machine gun.
You remember when Jerry went up against Will? Will had a fully automatic AK.
Yeah, they had, and Jerry was shooting a semi-auto AR.
No, it was an AK as well.
Oh, an AK.
It was the same gun, just one was semi and one was full. And Jerry almost beat the fully auto,
like by 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, it was actually. I think it was exactly 1/10 of a second.
It was within 1/10 of a second. And our point is this: is if the gun can chamber more than one round, you can figure out a way to shoot it really fast. But in California, semi-automatic rifles are really scary. Now, you might be saying to yourself, like, but Paul, aren't they already, like, didn't they, you can't have muzzle brakes or compensators. And if it does have a magazine that detaches, it can't detach unless you use a tool. You know, the whole California bullet. For those of you who live in free America and don't have to deal with this ridiculous nonsense, the slaves in California will tell you, the comfortable slaves will say, oh, we can own rifles out here. We can own black rifles. You're like, really? You can? Yeah, but they're special California rifles. They can't have any kind of a compensator, muzzle brake, or there's something like, they've got weird legislation out there that they can't have a certain type of thing because it makes it more dangerous. They definitely can't have a bayonet lug. Oh my gosh. If you put a bayonet lug on that, like thousands of people would die instantly if you allowed people to have bayonet lugs on their rifles. But they can have a 10-round detachable magazine, but the way they're allowed to detach that magazine is by using some type of a tool, not just the button that you push with your finger, because that's way too dangerous. You
mean a tool like Licking-Bottom or something?
Yeah, like
that kind of tool?
No, well, a similar tool, a tool like Jerry Brown. But yeah, they have these things called bullet buttons, and it's a little device that you use to release the magazine. it's crazy stuff. It's ridiculous. And you comfortable slaves out there, get mad at me all you want. Keep getting mad at me, but I'm sorry. You've been giving up your freedoms a little at a time. A little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. And now you're mad. Well, good. You should have been mad 20 years ago when you gave up your state, when you decided to be the reasonable man. And all of those of you who live in free America still, take the lesson from California. This is what happens when you, as a citizen, decide that you can be reasonable. Let that sink in for a second.
If you guys can hear his animation on the radio, you should see the video we did on the YouTube channel about the California being comfortable slaves. Go to the Student of the Gun Homeroom YouTube and watch it. It's pretty funny.
Folks, when you decide that you're going to be a reasonable person, and well, yeah, we know that we can't have, but we're still good. We can still have some things. That's what Europeans tell you. There are people on the continental Europeans that will tell you, "Oh, we can own guns. Really, you can? Well, let me come over to your house and let's look at them." No, oh no, I can't. It's not in my house. Well, where is it? Oh, it's in the gun. It's at the gun club. It's locked in the safe at the gun club, and I go to the gun club and I check it out and I shoot it, and then when I'm done, I lock it back up in the safe. Right. So to continue, the California lawmakers have passed expanded semi-automatic weapon bans. So the new sales of semi-auto rifles with removable magazines will be banned under California law, and under a bill passed by the Democrat-led legislature on Tuesday last, those who already own such weapons will have to register them. Remember we talked about all you guys who, all you reasonable people who took your original ARs and Mini 14s and all that jazz and took them out of the state and locked them up in storage lockers or at your buddies' houses in Arizona and Nevada and what have you. And then you got your friends are like, well, I can have a Colt, I can have a Bushmaster, or I can have this, It's just California legal. Well, now, according to this new law that they just passed, and we're waiting for Cuckoo Bird Jerry Brown's signature. They sent this amendment to Cuckoo Bird's desk, and they're waiting for his signature. And probably by the time you hear this, he will have signed it, because let's face it, Jerry Brown never met a gun control bill that he didn't like. All of you lunatics out there in California who keep allowing Jerry Brown to be elected as your governor, sorry, but you get what you deserve. And like I said, go ahead and get angry and get on Facebook and tell me I'm wrong again. But it says it's expected to be signed by the governor, yada, yada, yada. And, it would classify as an assault weapon any rifle that has a detachable magazine that holds up to 10 rounds. And so forth. So, and don't forget about the lead ammunition ban. Yep. They went ahead and stuck the that's also has been passed by the legislature, and it's awaiting for Jerry Brown's signature. They did a lead ammunition ban. So, but that's okay. That's reasonable. That's what you want to do in California, right, Jared?
Right. You want to know what really annoys me?
Go ahead.
Is that they're still trying to drive this Sandy Hook thing into they're trying to use this as a reason to pass the semi-auto ban. And whatever. I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go there.
No. Go ahead. It's because what is it the Democrats say? You never take the opportunity to waste a crisis, or never waste a good crisis. So when a Democrat breaks the law, we have to disarm the entire nation because look at the guy in Aurora. Look at the guy who shot Gabby Giffords. He was a Cuckoo Bird left-wing guy, but you're not supposed to know that. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to talk about all of these crazy shooting people. There are these mass shooters, and when we find out their history, They really, really, really want them to be Tea Party members and Reagan supporters. But then they dig in deep and they find out that they're all like pro-Obama, left-wing, Occupy Wall Street, radical cuckoo birds. And they're like, ooh, well, we're going to stop talking about that right now because that doesn't fit with our agenda. And yeah, look over there. Hey, look over at Syria. Don't pay attention to this. We don't want to talk about that right now. But on SanFranciscoGate.com, if you go there, it says California would become the very first state in the nation to ban hunting with lead bullets under a new bill that has been approved by the legislature this week. That environments hope will inspire the entire country to follow suit. Okay, cuckoo bird, left-wing people. Where does lead come from? Does it come from the ground?
You're not supposed to think like that.
You're not supposed to think that we like dig holes in the ground and we mine lead out of the earth, that lead actually occurs naturally in nature. Isn't lead nature? Isn't lead part of nature? Comes out of the ground, right? If you like dig a hole in the side of a mountain, you pull out lead. Oh, but that's bad nature. So we have good nature and bad nature now. Okay, rock on. I got you crazy people out there in California. Speaking of crazy people in California, we don't want to let you go until we talk about this because this is another thing that there's things that make you go, or According to the dailynews.com social affairs section, Pierce College in Los Angeles is now banning pistol safety courses. And they've had them there for a while, and it said it's one of their more popular courses. It's a basic pistol safety course put on by the NRA, National Rifle Association Basic Pistol Safety Course, right? Well, they're going to ban it. Do you know why they're going to ban it?
Why would you want somebody to know how to handle a pistol safely?
Because they stated safety concerns. That's why they're going to ban the pistol safety course. Because, and according to this, by preventing guns on campus, even objects that look like guns, because it says, according to them, it says it's unsafe to have guns in the presence of thousands of others, even training tools or replica guns, because someone could see one, it would spark panic and a 911 or a SWAT police response. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the people at the Pierce College in Los Angeles are so afraid of any object that looks like a gun, even a dummy gun or a replica gun or a trainer that would be used in a safety course. We can't allow that because it's just too dangerous. Do you understand that? That we are so afraid of inanimate objects now in California, in Los Angeles, that we have to pass rules and new laws so that people can't even see them, because seeing them is dangerous. What kind of a nanny state? What kind of a bunch of ninnies? You know what it is, Jared?
What?
It's vagination.
It is vagination.
That's right. And we've been waiting to drop that one on you guys. And you're welcome. We dropped it on you. We have right now in the United States of America a slow but sure change, and we are becoming a vagination. That's right. When you have people that are afraid of the sight of a firearm, they're afraid that if they see one, they're going to... Come on, folks. Come on. You're afraid to see a gun? It's going to scare you so much? I don't even know.
Did you expect anything less out of the People's Republic of California?
Oh, I'm waiting for all those Facebook messages and things to tell me how you don't understand, Paul. There's way more conservative people in California. It's just Los Angeles and San Francisco, and the rest of the state is good to go. Yeah, I want to be told by that. Oh, my Lord in heaven. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, one more story, and then before we go to the break. And this one comes from New Jersey. That's right. the People's Republic of New Jersey. And the source on this one is gunsavelives.net. And it's a report on a story that says New Jersey has added several air rifles. Yeah, you guys know what an air rifle is, right? It is a gun that uses the force of air to propel a lead pellet or a BB. And you guys know how dangerous air rifles can be, right? I mean, whew. So New Jersey, according to the New Jersey Second Amendment Association, that they in New Jersey, like a lot of these slave states, they just take guns and they put them on this arbitrary banned list. There are elitist politicians and bureaucrats out there populating these state offices, and they make up lists. And you guys need to be aware of that. Think about that. You could be on a list someday. But they make up lists, and they look at an object, at an inanimate object, and they're like, we don't like that. We're going to put it on a list of things that the peasants aren't allowed to own. Okay. And when you have bureaucrats putting things on lists, now are the bureaucrats at the the Attorney General's office, and are they elected by you? Are they directly responsible to you, the citizen, or are they just bureaucrats that do what they want? I don't know. Maybe they're just bureaucrats that do what they want. So they just decided that they're going to make up a list of things that the slaves and the peasants aren't allowed to own. Well, apparently there are some air rifles out there that are too quiet. That's right. Our friends at Gammo make an air rifle called the Gammo Whisper. And if you've shot pneumatic air rifles, you'll know that there's that loud, that kind of pop, that air pop when you shoot them. Well, apparently the Gammo Whisper is too quiet. So in New Jersey, they've decided that you need to make more noise. Not making enough noise is just too scary. It's too scary for the ruling class in New Jersey. So they've decided to put the Gammo Whisper air rifle, a gun that shoots one single lead pellet at a time, is now on the banned list.
Did you see what Lieutenant Genova said?
No. What did Lieutenant Genova say?
He made references in his letters to the firearm distributors that he sent. He said he made references to both air rifles being considered firearms under New Jersey statute, and that any form of firearm silencer is illegal. Well,
okay.
Last time I checked, I thought a firearm was something that used an explosive
propellant gas.
Yeah. Something that, whatever.
Well, so if you can say that any object that launches another object is a firearm, then is a slingshot a firearm?
What about a potato gun?
A potato? Oh, yeah. Don't you make a potato gun and you want to go to prison for your whole life? Go ahead and go to New Jersey and have a potato gun. Boy, you'll be in prison. We don't take kindly to people shooting vegetables. We can't have that. We can't allow that. Are you kidding me? The peasants cannot be allowed to have pellet rifles that are too quiet. And apparently in New Jersey, I guess New Jersey people are loud and boisterous and they appreciate noise. So, I guess in New Jersey, it is illegal to own, Lieutenant Genova, and I can't even imagine how Lieutenant Genova talks up there in New Jersey. I'm sorry, New Jersey people, but you live in a slave state, and sorry. Reference to both air rifles being considered firearms, and that any form of a firearm silencer is illegal in New Jersey. Apparently, in New Jersey, they want you to make noise.
Here I'm about to read you the definition of a firearm.
Okay.
It's a weapon, especially a pistol or rifle, capable of firing a projectile and using an explosive charge as a propellant.
And whose definition is that?
Webster.com.
Oh, okay. So it's the Daniel Webster Dictionary. Okay.
That wasn't New Jersey's.
Oh, no. New Jersey, anything that will make you scared, apparently, is a firearm. So sorry, New Jersey people, but hey, New Jersey people, you guys have been really super reasonable for the last 50 years, and we appreciate you being reasonable and allowing us to turn you into slaves. So drive on there. But we thought you would appreciate a little bit of slave state news out there. Now, why do we, and all you guys out in slave states, you're foaming at me. You're like, stop pointing that out to the rest of the world that we live in we're working hard. Okay, whatever.
Follow Colorado.
Yeah, follow Colorado. When New Jersey and California and Massachusetts and New York, when you start grassroots kicking out these elitists, and you have to ask yourself, you're like, well, you don't understand. Well, here's what I do understand. I understand that you live in a slave state. And I understand that if you have a job, if you're one of the working people, I can't imagine that the welfare slaves pay too much attention to studentofthegun.com. I don't think the welfare slaves are tuning in. So I'm assuming that the vast majority of you are productive citizens. And your productivity is funding the behavior of your government. Yes, that's what you're doing. Don't deny it. You can't deny it. You can deny it if you want, but you're being disingenuous and you're not being honest with yourself. Your productivity, if you live in Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, et al., and you are a productive citizen, your productivity goes directly to funding the machine that is being used to enslave the rest of your people and you. And if you don't have a problem with that, if you're able to talk yourself around it, fantastic, great. Denial's not just a river in Egypt. Fantastic. But don't write me Facebook letters. Well, you can do it if you want, because this is still America, and you can write me a Facebook message telling me how I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong, because what I know is that you're funding slavery. You're funding them, turning you into slaves. If you're giving money to New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts, you're funding slavery. And I'm sorry, but you need at very least, be honest with yourself and understand and appreciate that you are doing it. Now, you might not have a problem with it. You might think it's a good thing, but don't deny it. Don't deny it. Because accepting it, we're part of the 12-step program here for slave states. And I think step number 1 of the 12-step program for slave states is listening to Student of the Gun Radio and understanding that what Paul Markle tells you is correct. Are we going to go with that, Jared?
I think we should go with that.
I think we'll go with that. Okay. So, and all of that brings us right to the end of segment number 1 of this week's episode, and we appreciate you being with us. Now, we are going to take a short break, but before we do, we're going to remind you guys, hey, don't forget to watch Student of the Gun on Dish Network, channel 266. Yes, the television show is on Dish. If you've got Dish, set your DVRs, watch it. It's Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Don't forget, you can also go to studentofthegun.com. If you're not going to studentofthegun.com yet and watching the material, reading the articles, why? It's free. It costs you nothing, right? You're listening to my show. I know you know how to work a computer or a smartphone, right? Okay. Jared, you want to say anything to him before we leave?
I was just going to say that when we come back, the segment number 2 is going to be about shooting an unarmed man.
Shooting an unarmed man, yes or no, in the next segment of Student of the Gun. So come right back in just a moment.